Hare Krishna. So I'm back. I will try and do as much as I can from chapter 5, the cause of all causes, before the sun goes down. Let me pay my respectful obeisance. Narnam Naraskritchanam Chaivanaratamam Divam Sansatam Vyasam Tattvadyam Udiyayat Nasya Pravesya Bhadrasya Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utsamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Gyantramyandasya Ganangana Shalakaya Chakshuramnuitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vanchakapachuvasa Kripsanaveva Patitanam Purnevya Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Reading from got an ear infection. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. My ears hurt. Chapter 5, the cause of all causes. Text 1. Sri Narad Muni asked Brahmaji, O chief amongst the demigods, O firstborn living entity, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Please tell me that transcendental knowledge which specifically directs one to the truth of the individual soul and the supersoul. Very nice. So now we have a complete change of people who are speaking, people who are listening. Here's my little doggy, come to say hello, bite my ear. Now we have Sri Narad asking his father. What is a wonderful thing as you hear these texts spoken? What's wonderful is we get a chance to use our intellect, our madhyam level internally, and try and sort out when was this spoken, and is Narad an illusion about the universe here? Because Narad was born at a different time, and the universe is destroyed every day of Brahma, and Brahma goes to sleep. So is Narad destroyed? And does Narad have to remember everything? Or does he have this dementia where he's not very old, however he forgets everything at the end of every day of Brahma? So these are wonderful things we can meditate on via studying some of the things in this chapter. And I'll try and bring them up when I'm giving you pre-knowledge that I'm going to bring them up when they come. And we'll just have a little discussion about it. So this text 1, Brahma, obviously Narad offers his respects to Brahma and politely inquires about the specific knowledge, the transcendental knowledge, not mundane knowledge. He wants to know what is the transcendental knowledge which directs a person, which leads, in other words, it's the path, the abhidhya, leads one to the truth. That means what is the real thing, the real path that leads one to the individual soul in the spiritual world and the super soul, the Supreme Lord. In other words, let us understand what is the position of the servant and the master, but let's understand it from where we are, which is in the material world. So the chapter title is The Cause of All Causes. That would indicate we're going to hear about Narad wanting to know who the Supreme Lord is, and Brahma telling his son. So let's begin by saying that would appear to be Narad's ignorance of this fact. So is this Narad's first birth? These are questions we can ask. We're not making statements, we're questioning at this point. Text 2. Now the mosquitoes are coming out. Please go. Text 2. My dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done? What is the background of the Lord? What is the energy that makes it tick? How did it all begin? Who did it? We hear the scientists asking these questions, but they kind of jump to conclusions, like we hear Sukadeva praying earlier in the previous chapter. He was praying that, please, Lord, allow me to be chaste and follow in the path of the previous authorities, rather than being a mental speculator who just kind of guess how things are. In other words, not these scientific fools who come along, make a theory, and then 200 or 300 years later, 100 years, 50 years, when technology is advanced, a new overlord comes along, scientific overlord, throws out the previous theory, and then, lo and behold, you have a new concept of the universe. So there's only two unquestioned laws in the scientific world, two that have never really been possibly given a contender who will knock them off their place. And these are the first two laws of thermodynamics. So thermodynamics means the heat exchange in the universe. Thermo is heat, and dynamics means interaction. So you have the first law of thermodynamics, which basically states that, this universe is perfect and whole as a complete, because all the energy within the universe simply changes shape and is never taken out of the universe, and the energy just moves from one position to another, but it remains perfect and is never destroyed. And the law will go on further to explain that one can't have a perpetual motion machine in the universe, because if you see any black spots coming on my shirt like that one, my dog has just jumped up. He's putting his dirty paws all over me. It's quite funny trying to speak the Bhagavatam. I have a little puppy, by the way. Anyway, what is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? So I was speaking about the first law of thermodynamics. So that indicates a spiritual world where everything is expanding and there's no law of entropy. In the material world, it's governed by the law of entropy. And as the arrow of time marches forwards, entropy or destruction pushes backwards and destroys everything. So this is the law of the material world, and this is actually the Lord is time. In the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks, "Who are you?" And the Lord replies, "Time I am, the destroyer of the worlds." And of course, first we hear that Arjuna can see everything in the universe that he wants to see. It's all there in one place. Do you remember I said in the previous talk, I just mentioned how Brahma, in the beginning of creation, had everything given to him in seed form, and then it was amplified. He all of a sudden he woke up and got all full knowledge given to him from the delta brain rhythm, shall we say. That's just some brain rhythm. Of course, in the higher enchelons they may not need that, but they'll have an equivalent, whatever it is. We don't need to think everything is gross physical things. There's a lot of subtle things going on. So Lord Brahma received all knowledge, and similarly Arjuna could see everything in one place once he had transcendental eyes, and the Lord gave Brahma transcendental vision in the form of the Vedas. So the Vedas came out of Brahma's mouth, and then he understood them. He couldn't speak them without understanding them, and then when he did study them, he ascertained that devotional service was the pinnacle, basically the topmost of everything. Now from this point you'll see me more and more touching because the mosquitoes have started. I chose this backdrop for your pleasure, and it has drawbacks in that mosquitoes will be hanging around here. So, dear Father, what's the background of the world? How is it created? How is it conserved? conservation of energy, the first law of thermodynamics. Or we could say the Lord is Vishnu, who is the maintainer. And under whose control is all this being done? Yes, you're a creator. Are you the supreme, or is there someone beyond you? Let's hear about that. Text 3, my dear Father, all this is known to you scientifically. So this is the real science, of course. The science of the Vedas. The real science is the parampara system. Evam parampara praptam, is it? Something like this. So the real science is passed on from master to disciple. All this is known to you scientifically because whatever was created in the past, whatever will be created in the future, or whatever is being created at present, as well as everything within the universe, is within your grip, just like a walnut. I don't know, the walnut in your hand, or is it the walnut, like the brain is like a walnut? So Brahma has everything contained in his mind. But whatever happens, Narad knows that his father is the supreme knower of material nature. He is the firstborn, and therefore he's a good teacher, because he of course spoke the Vedas. So Narad, studying the Vedas, he went directly to his father, and he said, you are the creator of this system. Please explain this whole system to me. Please teach it to me in relation to the Lord. So this was, of course, Evam Param Praptam. This is the beginning of this parampara system. From Brahma to Narad, then we'll hear from Narad to Vyasadeva, from Vyasadeva to Sukadev. And then we get it from Sukadev to Sutta. And then Vyasadeva wrote it down, and then we get it. Of course, then there's other spiritual masters after that, coming down to our own spiritual masters. So Brahma is Trikala Gyan. He knows past, present, and future within this material creation. But as I mentioned before, he also has his own life, and his own life is going on, and things happen to Brahma. So he doesn't know exactly what's going to happen to him. Otherwise, his life would be so boring. It would be unbelievably boring if he knew everything. Of course, he can know things underneath him, but he has his own time frame that also expands forward. Text 4. My dear Father, what is the source of your knowledge? Very nice. Narad knows. Narad's not stupid. He has a